The last thing you need for being a badminton player is an injury that put you aside. In this video, learn how you can avoid a major injury that will hit at least half of the players' populations and will last for months. Teem is not spared. His hamstring injury lasted for 18 months. Hello, this is KJ. I'm the father of Teem, who is one of the state-level badminton players in Malaysia. Imagine you are starting with a 100-meter race and met a pit hole in your runway. There's only two outcomes: avoid it or being tripped by the pit hole in the 100-meter race. The analogy is equivalent to the thigh or hamstring injury for a badminton player. In this video, we will dive into prevention and treatment of the thigh and hamstring injury. Whether you are a seasoned player or just getting started, it's crucial to understand the prevention of this particular injury because the chances of getting it is super high. In badminton, the thigh and hamstring injuries often occur due to sudden stops, starts, lateral movements, and overstretch of the muscle. True enough, badminton is all about explosiveness, fast response, and movements to all directions in quickest possible pace. Therefore, this injury is commonly seen in badminton game. When a strain occurs near the groin or the hamstring areas, the muscles are partially or completely torn. In technical words, it is known as the whole or partial rupture. The injuries are normally occurring in an abducted longus muscle area. What can we do to prevent this injury? Two things on the prevention, which both are important. I will say that again. You will need to do both in order to effectively prevent this injury from happening. First is the proper warm-up routine. Yeah. Stop nagging me on warming up. Nagging doesn't work, but understanding the reasons is important. Muscles are made up from a type of elastic tissue, sort of like a material in a rubber band. Thousands or even tens of thousands of small fibers make up for each muscle. Muscle fibers do work by stretching and contracting, again, just like a rubber band. A good warm-up session increases blood flow to your muscles, waking up the tissues and make them more flexible and less prone to injury. Using the rubber band analogy, warm-up session is like moving a rubber band from a refrigerator where the rubber band is cold and hard to a warm and comforting room temperature place. After the temperature change, it will have vast different effect on the rubber band's elasticity. Imagine your muscles are like a cold rubber band with low elasticity. If it goes through sudden and a hard stretch, that's how ruptures happen. Your warm-up session should include both static and dynamic exercises. Make sure these exercises are positively impacting the hamstrings, groins, and adductor muscles. In general, spend at least 15 to 20 minutes on warming up before you touch your racket. The second action that you must do to avoid this injury is the ultimate split. Yes, you hear me right. It is the split of the legs. During Teem's hamstring injury, I have done a lot of research and talked to many of the parents and coaches. The intention was to find quicker ways for recovery. All the answers came back pointing to reducing the training and allow time for recovery. In short, there is no fast cure for it. From my research and conversations with dozens of parents and coaches, I summarize it as there are generally two categories of players. Category number one are those who couldn't do split on the legs. Teem is one of them. His groin section is simply hardened and couldn't do much on the split. This is a category that will have significantly higher risk on getting this injury. True enough, players around us in this category are lining up one at a time for this particular injury. It usually happens on the racket leg, which means if you are a right-handed person, it will happen on your right leg and vice versa. Category 2 are those with capability to do split on their legs. Their muscles around the groins, which include hamstring and thigh, are much more stretchable. If you think deeper, it is just like the rubber band analogy. This category of player have muscle which is more stretchable. Therefore, their risk of injury are naturally lower. Players with hardened rubber band-like muscles around their groin, even with lots of warm-up, the risk is still higher compared to those with more flexible ones. So, how do we get that done? Practice a split and incorporate that into your warm-down procedures. During evening time before sleep, spend 10 to 15 minutes to practice the split. Day by day, you will notice the split will get better and better, and you will thank me for that. Let's just say that you are super unfortunate and you are hit with the injury. What can you do? I want you to imagine that you already have a tendon or a muscle ruptured deep in your hamstring or thigh. The keyword is deep, D-E-E-P. In the middle of the game, when you experience the pain, first stop your game and call it a day. Then apply ice pack on the painful location to minimize the swelling of the muscle. Keep this going for every 2 to 3 hours for 10 minutes every time. After 48 hours, go for a treatment of the choice that you have access to. Remember, the muscle rupture is deep in the groin area. It is generally very hard to access and therefore very slow to recover. Nevertheless, go for the treatment that of your choice, which can include but not limited to physiotherapist, sport injury therapist, laser therapy, ultrasound therapy, massage therapy, and others. I just couldn't tell you which one is more effective. One way or another, the tissue is ruptured and it will take time to recover. Based on multiple cases that I've observed, the quickest recovery is around 3 to 4 months. The longest one is probably Teem's case, which is lasting for 1.5 years. If you're serious about a badminton journey, please do not miss the video on the screen. They will guide you winning points in badminton through the NCR chart and the M4 elements. During the 1.5-year journey, we have been through so many different types of treatment. Sometimes it is helpful, and most of the time, it doesn't feel any progress at all. In between, we continue to go training and definitely cannot push hard during the training. During court training, once you have injured, put on the tight support. It will provide the compression effect to the thigh and hamstring. Teem is especially in pain when he is trying to retrieve a high quality drop shot through a lunging step. The alternate training will be those at the back court activities instead of the front court, which requires more lunges. I would say Teem easily lost a real 6 to 9 months of progress compared to others who doesn't have similar injury. Not only the progress is impacted, but the morale is also low. The mental strength is weak. It feels like it is end of the road, especially we are not experiencing progress in recovery. In Teem's case, we are going for the sessions with the sports injury therapist. They will use acupuncture plus massage session on the injury section. Teem is a left-hander. His left groin has shrunk with multiple sessions, and I really mean multiple sessions of acupuncture and massage session. It is so extensive to a point where his left groin is now smaller than his right groin. It has done a very big damage to his left leg's power. So players, it is not fun. Most of you that watch this video, it's likely to ignore and move on with what you like to do. I'm telling you right now that if you are in category A who couldn't do the split well, you are highly likely to go through what I have just described to you, and you will regret not doing the prevention action. Don't let that happen to you. After Teem recovered from the injury, he's actively practicing his split to avoid another round of getting a similar injury. As I record this video, he is now able to do up to 90% of a perfect split. By the way, surgical treatment is not recommended, and even in the case of a total rupture, it is simply not necessary and might take longer time and overall to return to the sports. Until the next video, take care and please help to share the video to your friends. The more you share, the more you gain. Thank you very much.